This is Every Thought Narrated, where I talk about my thinking, decision making, and mistakes that I'm doing as an Immortal player, this time in a support edition. I'm playing Hoodwink position 5, and I'm joined by Ursa on my lane, and we're playing against Bristleback and Terrorblade. This is important to think about at the start of the game, so that you can adjust for the lane. So what I'm doing is firstly I'm going to buy a stick, because Bristleback is going to spell his W with the quills. So does my Ursa, by the way. And it will help me sustain mana and HP. Second thing is that I know that this Bristleback is going to push the wave by his quills inevitably. So this means that I need to block this big camp. If I don't block the big camp, it means that they can reset the wave whenever it's pushed into us and put it into a very unfavorable spot for us. So this is why I need to block this, and this is what I'm doing right at the start of the game. So we're gonna skip forward, and we will also see that Ursa is like offering me a sweet warding spot where I can actually place the sentry, and the sentry overviews the entirety of the small camp without being dewarded. Pretty neat. As for the lane, I will be criticizing a lot because I'm not a support player. I do usually play offlane. And things don't come as natural to me as a support player. But now in hindsight, if I'm reflecting on it, I think I can see a lot that I could do better, and I will call it out, and maybe you can learn from it as well. So my job in this game is to make sure that the Ursa has good farm. It's as simple as that. And the lineup that we're playing into is pretty aggressive, and I don't think that we can easily contest them on the lane until this Ursa's level 6 and we actually have kill potential onto Bristleback. So what I'm doing is I'm going to the other side of the enemy support, and I'm just trying to mess with the Bristleback a bit and slightly annoy him. It actually pushes him away from the lane for a little bit. But yeah, I think this is what I should keep doing. And now this is one of my first mistakes, is that I walk over the lane. My reasoning for this is that I want to make sure that this is unblocked at minute 1 so I can pull. And there are two things to criticize about this. Firstly, since they have like a pushing lineup, it's not that important to unblock it in minute 1. And the other reason is that I'm walking straight over here, where I actually knew that the enemy support was somewhere around this area. So what I should have done is just go back through the trees behind my tower and then unblock from here. Instead I'm walking through the lane close to the Bristleback into another support, eating a lot of damage, which was not necessary. But I do unblock this camp with the ward. This can also be done if you don't have this nice ward. You can just keep your sentry and then place it here to deward. He body blocks, not much that I can do. What I can do is bushwhack him somewhere here so he cannot walk over while the minute turns full. But I used my bushwhack earlier, so this is not possible. I had to use my bushwhack because I went through the lane instead of behind the lane. So this depends on what lane that is, but since it is like a high damage aggressive lane, I should be playing more passively behind here. Now these were like 10 seconds that I didn't contribute to the lane at all. I think what I should have been doing after killing this, like securing the camp here, is go back to mirror the Terrorblade to be on the other side of the lane and just slightly harass the Bristleback, because my Ursa doesn't really feel supported by me right now. I'm like hitting Terrorblade once or twice, but this is actually pretty poor performance. Also, look here again how I walked into the lane instead of like behind the towers. There wasn't really a reason for this, and it gave them an opportunity to like dish out damage, and I had to use my stick. Actually not necessary. I thought that maybe this guy had a ward somewhere here. So maybe he walks back here to kill the courier. but he doesn't, and we miss a kill opportunity. So this is a good learning as well, because the way that we kill heroes is that I bushwhack them and Ursa can hit them, and ideally they're isolated. So when I see my Ursa running over, there's no need for me to run away from the Ursa, because if I solo catch this guy, I don't kill him. But if he runs into us, then we do kill him. So me going off alone is also not the play of the game here. Also me overstating my kill potential. I was trying to go for this Terrorblade who was pretty low. But here already I have 2 quill stacks and I don't have any defensive mechanisms anymore. So I need to become more aware in which lanes it is important to keep the spell to stay defensive and where I can use it aggressive. This is a lane where I definitely should only use my bushwhack defensively, which I initially did. This defensive bushwhack, but now I go in aggressively and eventually leads to my death. It's important to bring your yourself for your carry here. So Terrorblade dies, but it doesn't really matter. To bring yourself for this guy, to get him back up again, which I forget to do until like now, but it's too late. I'm already TP'd. So also not the move. Also comes from me not being used to playing support, having to bring regen to your carry. But this is my job in the game, to make sure that he has good last hits. And if we check right now, his last hits are like okay-ish, but Bristleback is definitely at the better end of things. So I feed him a tango at least. And so at this point we are like in full defensive mode, you would think. Just trying to get Ursa back up to full HP. So this is important pull I miss. You only realize it a bit later, but like it would have meant that I had to pull like right now. But right now we can actually already see that their wave is slightly smaller than ours. Actually, we have creeps under tower, so our wave is pushing into them. So this should be Q enough for me to go pull right now. And let's see what's happening since I don't pull. The Ursa tries to step up to the wave and just eats a lot of damage here. I finally self him, gets cancelled by this. The range of reflection is insane. But so yeah, this is the situation where I like unblocked the small camp for when the wave is not in a good spot and my Ursa was low. And I still didn't pull, so he like tries to walk up to get some last hits and just eats a lot of damage. And that's definitely on me for not getting this earlier pull. I think it's fine to not get this pull actually, because then they maybe dive us on a tower. So, especially in lanes that like naturally push your lane, you need to think about when to pull and when not to. So, as I said like earlier, I should have pulled, but like here you see I didn't pull and we lost 1 creep so far. So it's fine, and they're now on the tower, and they actually do dive us with this wave. They glyph the creep, and then they try to get the Ursa, and we kite that. So there's also like not that much theory crafting here. I'm also like in a bit of a panic mode, just trying to survive against this Bristleback lane. As we have a long pause, which we're gonna skip real quick. There we go. This, for example, is a pull that I think is not quite ideal, because this guy is killing the wave actually. And they now have the opportunity to dive us here, which they actually do, and the reason that we survive is that we get a necro rotation. So we can kill the Terrorblade pretty quickly, but without the necro, our Ursa might just die. No Urshock, big stick, but like this guy deals a lot of damage. So it was kind of a risky pull, but I think it works out with the Terrorblade, and yeah, none of us feeding. So the name of the game for me as a support is also to just keep my distance from the bristleback, and yeah, not get killed over and over again. Final pause. Okay, so now this is a decent pull, because the wave is very far forward and Ursa cannot be standing here. And for some reason now, we decide to jump this bristleback. But it absolutely does not work. And there's quite a simple reason for this, is because Ursa isn't in range, because Ursa didn't get level 6 yet. If we have Ursa level 6, we kill this guy easily because Ursa just survives. But there's like no reason to try to get the kill when it's so risky. So I don't actually know how this decision came to be, but obviously the wrong decision. And it's much easier and better to just play the game chill until you have a power spike where you can be certain to get a kill, which would be Ursa level 6. So as long as you can sustain a wave, or like stick on the lane and don't have to jungle as a carry, you want to be on this lane. So I want to keep trying to secure this lane for my carry, which is why it's like minute 8, but I still go for a pull. I actually make 2 pulls in one. And my Ursa just hit level 6 right now, and this opens up for the kill. So let's rewind this a bit to watch it a little slower. So I see Ursa's level 6 right now, and we see bristleback approach, and I bring myself in position to land a bushwhack. Yeah, and this time it's him underestimating our damage and his. Okay, now Ursa is dead, and I hit level 6 from it, so I'm very ready to like look around the map, seeing what's happening here. I think without the ward I would not necessarily go up here. Without the ward I would probably walk behind and stay behind my team, because me having like 780 HP in total and right now 300, I'm a very squishy boy. And the hoodwink play is always to like stay way behind. So the ward enables me to like see what's going on and set up for this kill. It does cost us 2 lives, but we get this big stack and we kill the mid lane, so I think it's favorable for us. We can now ask ourselves where we are going to TP after we are back up. So laning stage has kinda ended, as we see like our team invading their triangle. So you could imagine to go bottom, and what I'm usually preaching is that you should kill this tower and then open up the map like this. So you can play in their jungle because they lost the tower, and you have a very free map. But in this scenario, my highest priority is the Ursa's farm, and he's doing okay. He like caught up very well, and also he has kill potential. So my thinking is that I just want to play with and behind the Ursa to make sure he firstly doesn't die, and to look for opportunities where a kill can be found. And even again, I pull the wave in order to keep a good equilibrium. And this is also just like mistakes by the Terrorblade. Right now, whoever steps out too close to us without any backup pretty much dies. Because Ursa just naturally has a huge power spike with 4 levels in Fury Stripe at level 7 and his Enrage. So he is difficult to bring down, while dishing out a lot of damage. And I have like a good ranged control behind him and a follow-up with the Sharpshooter. So it's a pretty nice combo and very dangerous for the enemies. Yeah, so this is also why I would like to stick and play with the Ursa. This Bristleback is also an immediate kill. The only reason it isn't is because I don't decide to sharpshoot right now. For some reason I'm hesitant. Maybe I'm unsure if I can actually kill him with the Ursa. But we absolutely can. I just die for it because I didn't sharpshoot earlier. I think, yeah, I was kind of hesitant. Can we actually kill him? But this is good. My Ursa, let's look at the net worth, is now almost top of the net worth. And I just want to keep this up. So if there's no OD, I just go for another pull actually. And we see the OD, I even have the Earth Spirit here. So we go for the kill. Missing the bushwhack. Pretty sad. Okay, so now this is a bit of a weird map state. Because we had Earth Spirit already here and Dawnbreaker who ultied in. So we're like all clumped up here together. So the enemy can basically play a huge part of the map without any contestment. So we kind of feel the need to get back onto the map. And I think this is in general not entirely a bad idea. But there are a couple of reasons that don't really work out. So first of all, we have a double TP to bottom lane. Using TP is quite a big commitment. And they can't actually kill this anti-mage. Like, it's only Ursa and Earth Spirit, and we don't have the control between the two of them to actually kill the anti-mage. I don't have a TP, and Dawnbreaker doesn't have ult. So I go Twin Gate, and I think, okay, we cannot kill him, but we can take this tower and open up the map, as I said earlier, which is also what I'm preaching in these videos. But it doesn't really work out, and let me show you why. So after this engagement, wait, did this guy cancel TP? How is he back top? Let's see. Oh, it's not actually him TPing. It's Necrophos TP. Okay, and Necrophos naturally just wants to go back to Death Mid and farm these camps. So right now it's only Ursa and me who are at this bottom tower, and you can see me like draw this line. I ping a tower and I draw this line to say, hey, let's open up the map like this. And the thing is that we don't have any backup right now. As I said earlier, we don't have ult on Dawnbreaker, we don't have Earth Spirit behind us, and Necrophos wants to play mid. So when we get aggressive on this tower, like I get a nice D-ward, that's fine. But my Ursa is getting jumped under the tower and I'm the only backup. So I can throw one bushwhack, but it's not enough. And both of us get picked off. I think there were just a couple of actually obvious markers that I missed that led to this mistake. Because I don't think it's entirely wrong to rotate to this side of the map, but I think there are like two good scenarios where we can make this happen. One is if Dawnbreaker has ult and the Earth Spirit is behind us, or if Dawnbreaker doesn't have ult but it's just with us, and Ursa is farming top, and it's like Dawnbreaker, Earth Spirit, and me, like doing some plays around the bottom tower. If Necrophos wants to join, that would be amazing, because I think in general it would be a pretty good idea to open this map and restrict the anti-mage farm. But we do it without the ult and we do it without the backup. So this is why this fails. And in hindsight, it might have been better for Ursa to just stay top and farm these waves. Because from here, if you can't be in this tower and this area, you need to retreat to these two camps and the triangle, which is not really efficient yet because he doesn't have Battle Fury yet. So I said earlier, as long as you can stand on your lane, you should try to stay. And we actually could have done this, and we just didn't. So understandable decision making to come bot, but wrong circumstances. To summarize this short excursus. So next question would be, where do you go on the map now? And like, if you want, you can take a second to think for yourself where you would TP. We have bottom anti-mage pushing and Dawnbreaker basically no mana, and we have mid Necrophos, some pressure on the tower, and we have Ursa top. And I spent quite a bit of time thinking about it until I eventually TP mid to respond to this aggression, but the tower falls anyway. So this is a debatable decision. We kind of end up turning it into a good thing because we have this invis on Necrophos and I follow him around. And we catch a kill here, as well as the stacks. Oh, by the way, goated Stomp, did you see this? I'm running away from the kisses and he kicks me away from them. So nice. So this is fine. But in hindsight, I would think that the same thing could have happened if I TP top to the Ursa, where Bristleback was also playing. And the two of us have kill potential, so we either kill the Bristleback or push him away from the lane. And from here I can still connect to triangle where the Necrophos wanted to play. And I'm again standing behind my Ursa, which I think is the actual go-to play, to stand behind your Ursa in this game. And I just don't always do it consistently. So I think this could definitely be done better. Okay, so we run back to base here real quick. And we feel finally kind of ready to kill this guy, because we now finally have silence leveled here. And we're looking for the kill. Unfortunately, we kinda cancel our spells because he breaks the tree that I'm trying to bushwhack. So we don't get the kill immediately. But we decide to actually chase him down here. And he finally goes down. So the reason he was chaseable is because of how the map was composed. If we go back a couple of seconds, we have top pushed in, so somebody has to reply to this, and we have mid also at a decent spot, I guess. And we have a ward behind this tower, which I placed earlier. So we have good information who's trying to join. So this is why I keep running here. Unafraid of where the rest of them are. Getting the kill. And see, this is what should have happened earlier when Ursa got caught under this tower and died. It should have been looking more like this, where now we have already found a kill, and we also saw some other people on the map, and it's the three of us while Ursa is farming, and Necro is also kinda in the area, so this feels much more comfortable to play for this tower. Alright, so we get the tower, and you see how I'm like thinking about going back top to connect to my Ursa, and the engagement is happening there. But the engagement looked kinda over, so I'm thinking about going back to the wave. And now we see the Bristleback though, he's very killable, so I actually decide to TP top. Okay, so I think this is okay-ish. We killed mid and Bristleback, but our Ursa died, and dying Ursa is a pretty big loss. So because he right now has like the highest priority, it feels pretty bad for me to lose the Ursa. And so I think while this was okay, like my whole team was here, and the connection definitely got the Bristleback kill and enabled the OD kill as well. We can look back at this fight for a second, where they start with killing the Terrorblade, and now I TP'd in, and I would argue that the Sharpshooter does play a role in killing this guy. And now a bit later, the Bushwhack also plays a role in killing this guy. So it's an okay rotation, and it's an okay place to be, but it's not ideal. And the reason for that is that we are in a different state of the game than we were earlier. So when this tower was still standing, and I was playing here with Ursa, and looking to either push people away from the lane or kill them, it was a situation where people were like still scattered and farming. But this is like a whole team fight thingy, and if you do a whole team fight thingy, you would actually rather do it around mid lane right now to get the tower, or in this bottom area, because this means like if you win a fight here bottom, you can either threaten a tower, but in general it just opens up the map, because we are like the enemy will be clumped around here, and somebody can go back here to farm, and somebody back here, and somebody can be top to farm. So it would feel better to do this same thing bottom, and maybe we don't lose the Ursa. Yeah, so those are my thoughts about this team fight on top. Okay, maybe you noticed how I ran from this side of the map to this side of the map without doing anything else. So instead, what I could have done is I could have ran to this outpost on top, come bottom, and then set up for this kill. Because we established that we are able to kill this guy, and with some backup coming in, maybe this guy having mana for once, I don't know, it could be a kill, and if it's not, I can still be around, maybe place some good wards on this side of the map where I do want to play actually, and push the wave a little bit. Instead, I'm like walking around the map like someone who doesn't know what he's doing, probably because I don't know what I'm doing. So, but like being bottom right now is fine. My Ursa is doing okay, just farming. And I connect, or like I walk into this Bristleback, which makes me talk about this 4-step decision. So high priority item on Hoodwink is Shard, because it enables this boomerang that increases magic damage, and it just dishes out a lot of damage even after the recent like slight what do you call it? Slight nerf of like 5%. It's still 20% incoming spell damage from every source, and it's pretty good in this game as well, with Necrophos dealing only magic damage, with Solar Guardian dealing magic damage, and with Earthsphere dealing magic damage. It's just a very good item almost every game, and this one especially. So I went for stuff before this, because there are just many things that help with the 4 stuff. The first is Bristleback and the slows, Mortimer Kisses and the slows, and this guy also has a slow, so a lot of slows first of all. Also a dodgeable stun, and for anti-mage in OD it's not amazing, but it's still like okay, and I can help out my team with it. So you want like one safe item, and I decided to go for 4 stuff over Glimmer, just because it's so good against these 3 heroes on the right here. As you see, as you just saw, I can force stuff away from this guy and can live pretty easily. To my surprise, he's charging into us, and yeah, just dies to this. Okay, I just TP top because I'm afraid that my Ursa is getting gone on, and as I said, highest priority is the Ursa, so whatever I can do to help him save his life, I will do. It was not necessary here. They actually have vision here, so the ward didn't really work. What I'm just thinking about actually is that earlier when I made this weird run towards bottom that didn't do anything. Yes, we were at this top fight where we get the 2 kills but lose the Ursa. Yeah, I'm just rewinding a bit. And now I'm working bot. This should also be the time where I start thinking about Roche with the Ursa lineup. So 17 minutes would be a very early Roche, but we have a lineup where it's very much possible, and so I should start thinking about warding this area. I actually have 2 wards in my inventory, and I just don't use them. I could place them around Roche. I think that's what I should have done. Okay, and we now skip back forward to where we kill this Bristleback. Yeah, and we now TP'd back top. Now trying to get this ward down that gets denied. That's just life. Okay, so this is also a bit weird. I don't have a TP now because I TP'd back to my Ursa. And I'm now top, whereas my whole team is bottom. So I get some farm. It's okay, I guess. Living because of the 4 stuff, by the way. But I don't have any way to engage with my team. So I'm not actually sure if I should have ran bottom from the start, or if it's actually fine to take these few waves. So I'm trying to connect bottom, taking a mid wave. Yeah, like this is what happens if you need to connect like this to your team. It's a bit difficult. You don't really see much at that point. My team is like already back. So I already pinged this Torm earlier, so I think we now finally take it. I think I could have stayed top actually. I think that's not an easy decision to make when you like team runs into the direction without you having a TP. I think I should have stayed top even after the Bristleback goes in me and try to push this wave. Set up for Tormentor. Yeah. Yeah, like it's just all a bit slow. I think if I push this wave right after, like instead of trying to connect to bottom, I push the wave after the Bristleback goes on me, I might be ready to be twin gating and help this engagement bottom. I didn't get the shard, unfortunately. It's life. Yeah, so what I'm thinking now that I watch this is like, when do you go Roche, bro? Start getting Roche. Like, this is also Roche on the bottom side, which favors the Dire, because we want to play in this area anyway, right? As I basically say in almost every single video, having a map like this means that you can play something like this, and gives you a huge map. And so for this, it's important to like keep this wave push, so you want to play bottom. And Roche being bottom is like very favorable for us. So I'm wondering, what am I thinking that we're not going Roche right now? It's not even that they have good Roche counter except for Mortimer's Kisses. So what we should be doing, I have 3 smokes in my inventory, is get together, smoke up, find a kill in this area, and then take Roche. But it's not happening right now, so something I need to be much more aware. Yeah, the same thing could have happened with the smoke, and Necro probably lives. So, like, I could have, like, obviously it's also Necro just literally walking into high ground here, trying to get a juicy kill. But I could have made this call earlier to go Roche, to go smoke into Roche. Makes for a better engagement. It also almost looks like I'm undecisive between pushing waves and going for plays. It's also a bit difficult for me as a support because I'm not used to which waves do you need to leave for your course and which waves do I take. But I think it would be better to just like be decisive about that. This seems reasonable, trying to control this area, getting a ward down. I do get jumped here, and I kind of kite this decently. But nevertheless, actually, there's no real objective to get right now. We don't really take a tower. Our objective is actually Roche, and it's not happening by me and my other support walking around there. As like now my team is connecting. And we get a kill. It's all like alright, but I think it could be even more efficient. It is now that I'm thinking about Roche, but Roche is now top, so I need to walk into an awkward area and ward. Yeah, but that's what you should be doing if you go Roche. Ideally set up some wards, and in this scenario also like we had found the Terrorblade before that, so it's pretty ideal. Another plan is to just stick behind my Ursa. Wherever this guy goes, I should also be going. And yeah, help catch people or help kill people. Help them live if necessary. Okay, so he TP's out. Yeah, this is also fine. Like, I didn't have a TP. They TP'd out to kill the bristleback, and I tried to connect to them. Yeah, I think in this scenario, this is the better play. Like, there's no need for me sitting in this lane. We have, like, actual threat to go high ground or, like, to take objectives as a team. So, I'm just staying behind. High ground feels a bit forced, though. They're still all alive. We don't have that much building damage. We can actually ping the high ground. I don't think we need to go high ground, actually. Now that I'm watching at this. Also, okay. So, what a fight. So we're fighting on two sides, apparently. Looks like a huge sun. But this like clumped between two towers. Very little vision. Yeah, and this is where we split the fight. And I don't think that this should happen. We should stick with the Ursa, but we cannot follow here. Or I don't feel comfortable following into a tier 3. So we need to deal with this guy, but it's hard for us to bring him down without Ursa. We try to catch him. Yeah, but he gets out. And Ursa dies twice. Okay, so this is my take on why this fight went wrong. We started the fight with Earth Spirit being very low, and we allowed the fight to split. Yeah, so this guy gets caught out of position basically. And it looks good at the start. Yeah, but I think now that we have 2 buybacks, we need to go back as a team. And actually just kill this guy, I think. Imagine we had 1 bash on him. Yeah, but the fight is now split. Not good, not good. Okay, so now my goal will be to just finish the sex and and get the map back to like a decent map state where we can farm decently and control the map. So I'm gonna go ahead and tip it up. Just take this wave. We catch a kill here. I'm looking for a bit more. Like all these engagements are like optional, and I should focus on this item here. Responding to their dive. Just chilling though right now. No Ursa, so no fighting. we're gonna get some creeps here. Now if our item finished, so for me it's a call to smoke. And find a kill with the hex, ideally anti-mage. So I call for the smoke. And we start walking into them. Find a snap first. But feel comfortable to keep going. We like haven't spent anything really except for Necro ult. So my Ursa is really in deep. So we just see what we can do. He gets supported by our Solar Guardian. So we go and connect to this fight. Yeah, so the way this worked is we found a kill at the start and Ursa jumped in and they committed on Ursa and he got backed up by Solar Guardian, which just made him live and be able to dish out damage. It's a different thing if some of our supports get jumped first, or maybe Necrophos, who is hard to kill at this point, but can be potentially burst down. But if they go on Ursa first, it's essentially the ideal scenario. So now that they're all dead, we just go for objectives here. And we just orientate ourselves by where the Ursa is. So Ursa's bot, so we follow him bot. Actually find a kill here. I'm gonna go ward. So I'm walking towards the Ursa again. It's only now that we spot like anti-mage for a second here that we are tempted to chase. Don't find him though. So under this juicy ward that I planted, by the way, lol. I planted it though like 4 or 5 minutes ago. But it's a good ward that when you're winning, like people will be playing on the edges of your map. So it can catch an anti-mage or bristleback farming. So we get a decent kill out of this. Yeah, and now Roche is the objective. What we don't know is that this guy is literally Roche. But I think it's all fine. We can check when Roche is actually up. So Roche is up right now. I think no. Yeah. He's now up, so now we should be looking Roche. Then we find the bristleback first. And that's totally reasonable to get this kill into Roshan. And then somebody was there earlier, that's just life. Heads up play by him actually. If we take a little longer, he gets out with the Aegis. But he doesn't, so we actually chase him down. Like there's no Bristol, there's not really a threat. And now for high ground, I'm just going to stand behind. There's no reason for me to stand on this cliff. I can stay even further behind. I can just chill here, maybe, out of vision. So this is the teleport burst that I don't think it's good by any means. It's not like this guy is actually pushing that quickly. But maybe he needs to save the Dawnbreaker. I don't even know. But very questionable. It slows the push down quite a bit. They chased on the Necro. Highly disagree, to be honest. Nevertheless, we're just connecting to the Ursa again. I'm just bound to this player, basically. And my hope is that we smoke, and that we find one solo hero respawning here. And we kinda do. He finds somebody mid lane. And now just get out. Okay. So not exactly what happens, but... So I really do like this play. So, we see anti-mage top. We even see Snapfire for a second. And I'm thinking like, they will be split. Like some of them will try to pressure top, some of them will farm. But somebody has to respond to this wave. So my thinking is we wait bot and go for a kill here. Ursa on the other hand is like waiting mid lane. I guess because of the ward. Also a reasonable play, it's just that we didn't do it together, but it's fine. Oh, maybe, okay, he was looking actually to go triangle, maybe. That I disagree with. I think we should look for this response and like full to zero this OD with the Abyssal Blade. Which he uses on mid, because he sees somebody and jumps. I think this could have been done cleaner if he like follows me in this situation. And now the idea would be to just get out, reconnect with the team, because we're like missing one hero, and we can actually go high ground here, so we need to disengage. The enemy knows this, however, and will respond to this. So I stand behind the Ursa, trying to support him in whatever is coming. Yeah, and this is also just us being very strong at this point. Refresher on this guy, and he connects to the Ursa and he lives. And me, I'm just standing behind. I'm not engaging here. I'm just on the outskirts of the fight. So Ursa actually died. That's 3 of them dead, and we have like reasonable pushing power. I make sure this is like something you can do with any hero actually, to not let this wave walk up here. Just makes it quicker for us to connect to this later. Yeah, and the reason I'm standing up here is because like 2 are dead, and I don't feel threatened. I don't think that they will come. Otherwise I would be standing back here. Which I eventually do. I'm like retreating. Okay, and we successfully get out, I think. Okay, they chase into us like mad. This is wild. So they chase into us and we just like naturally defend ourselves. And we even have Ursa connecting, so this is a good fight for us actually. I have Hex in a second here. Okay, so they do find me eventually, right? Okay, buyback on me. Not so sure about that one. I thought I would find a kill. It doesn't end up mattering. This guy is buyback, but he gives up. Okay, so let me actually summarize some of the learnings for you and also for me. First, laning. So during the laning phase, it would be important for me to stick to this side of or like wherever the enemy support is, I don't want to be. And I need to be more disciplined in like when Terrorblade is here, I'm just here like hitting the bristleback whenever I can. Another thing would be about this bottom push, about opening out the map like this by killing the tower, that this needs to happen in the right situation, and that it shouldn't be underestimated how good it is to just stick to this lane and keep enabling your carry to stay on the lane. Something that I really fumbled was the Rosh timing. When it was bottom, would have been a very good Rosh. So keeping Rosh in mind, especially with the Rosh lineup, like with Ursa or Beastmaster or Slaughter, you need to keep thinking about Rosh. Also, I had a lot of smokes lying around in my inventory in this game that I have not been using. Like at some point I had like 3 smokes in my inventory. I just didn't really use them. This, by the way, is the timing where we should go Rosh bot. Like, smoke collectively, find a kill, Rosh. In general, you should know the position of your hero. Hoodwink being a backline hero, like you don't need to stand on high ground, you can stay way behind. You don't need to engage into a fight that's happening here, you can stay in the outskirts. Okay, so yeah, maybe I should mention that I didn't make a single stack in this game, or at least like not actively like thinking to stack an ancient camp for a hero. And this is also because I'm just not used to playing support. But this could definitely be criticized when I'm playing bot. I should think about like when the map is looking like this and we play bot, I should think about stacking ancients, definitely. Alright, so much for the summary. This had a lot less structure than like my offline recap, because there was a lot to criticize, more than to explain what I'm thinking. So I do realize that support is also a role for me that I need to keep learning, and also need to get back into the mindset of what a support is actually supposed to do. I hope you still found some helpful tidbits, and I can do that same thing with your replay. I offer coaching, and we can go over a replay of yours and talk about what your thought process was and what better options would have been available to you, and how to improve it for the next game. So my next support game that I will be playing, I will be mirroring the support a lot more, and I will be very cautious about when we want to go Rosh, when we want to smoke. Alright, so much for that. Hope you enjoyed, and see you in the next one.
What a tune!